Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Eating in Harmony with Nature, the respiratory system. Our presenter this evening is Dr. Kaushik, the owner and chief medical practitioner of Dr. Kaushik's Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Clinic, located in Cross River, New York. He is one of the most experienced Ayurvedic physicians in North America and founder of the Institute for the Advancement of Ayurvedic Sciences, a research and teaching institution. Dr. Kaushik's next presentation is Eating in Harmony with Nature, the Integumentary System. This program will take place on Tuesday, March 11th from 7 to 8 p.m. You can register on our library's calendar or by emailing me, donald@adults@paulinglibrary.org. Tonight's lecture is being recorded. All participants' audio will be turned off until the end of the program, and at that time, you'll be able to ask Dr. Kaushik questions. A recording of tonight's program will be available upon request. Thank you again, Dr. Kaushik.
Thank you, Don, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We always repeat the same thing, that this is a lecture to provide you tools to take care of yourself, and this is not a replacement for your doctor's visit. In case there are any deeper issues, you must consult your healthcare provider. The goal is to incorporate certain lifestyles, diet, supplements, food into our daily routine so we do not get sick. Ultimately, goal is to stay healthy as long as we possibly can. There are some times when things are not in our control and we do get sick, then you know what to do and where to go. But in generally, immune system is one which we are trying to boost. And today's lecture talking about respiratory system actually is one of the most important organ system in this human body, knowing that this is one of the three vital organs. If we cannot breathe, again, we know that life is in trouble. And so the lungs and the gas exchange is very, very important. And we have seen that recently, that when the lung infection comes, maybe because of the viruses, bacteria. COVID was again a prime example. People were getting infected in the lungs. So making those strong and making our immune system strong is the key, because the entire blood goes to the lungs for gas exchange, making sure we have more oxygen, the life force, the prana in our body, and we release the carbon dioxide. And for that, the entire respiratory passageway need to be in good shape. The mucous membrane need to be intact, and the lungs need to be healthy, where we can exchange the gases. So few things, again, this is the weather where we see that there are a lot of individuals who get sick because of the infection in the lung, maybe because of the cold air, because of the snow, maybe because of the wetness. But again, ultimately, it is our immune system. When our immune system is good, when our prana vahastrota is good, and there's no vikar, there's no abnormality, there's no disease, definitely we are staying healthy. So the respiratory system involves nose, trachea, lungs. And most of the time, the reasons for disease is pollen, dust, allergies in general, pollution, weather, foods and drinks not suitable for doshas, which is malnutrition, amas, which we call toxins, overexertion, and infection. Infection and it generally happens again when our immune system is compromised or weak. Certain few of those things we have no control over. For example, the quality of air, which is the environment, we can change, or individually. As a community, we can change our environment in the neighborhood, making sure that the streets are clean, the neighborhood is clean. We don't have a lot of stuff outside which is giving bad smell. So we can control that to some extent. But if everybody's spraying something outside, we can control that. Air is polluted, air is polluted. Same thing coming with the water. If we have a well water, maybe we have some control, the type of filters we use, how we have central filtration system or what chemicals we use, we have some control. But if you're living in a city and we are dependent upon the city water, we have no control over that either. So in that case, and whatever is there, we can add some filters in our home. But there are a lot of things which are floating in that water, which we cannot filter out because there's no filter made for them. A lot of chemicals are not identified and filters are not available for those. So only thing which we have in our own control is what we put in this body, the diet, the food, the nutrients, and the thought process. So keeping positive thoughts definitely helps. And also exercise, that is in our control. But the food, again, quality of food makes a big difference. Where we are getting this from, where it's grown, where it's imported from, if it's locally grown, if you have that in your backyard. So that part, how it is prepared, if you are, again, keeping, buying the foods which are pre-prepared from a restaurant, what they use, what kind of oil they use, what kind of spices they use, all those make a big difference. So generally, when people tell me I'm basically perfect health, I eat healthy, well, the air quality is not under control, whatever is there. Water, to some extent, not control. So only control we have is the diet. So many times, even though we're eating healthy, people do get sick because other factors are also involved in that one. So in journey is that whatever you can do the best in that case, because other factors which still are there and they're not in our control. So disorders, nasal passages, we look at the rhinitis, nasal congestion, obstruction, nasal dryness, cold, nasal polyps, epistaxis, allergies, very common in those, throat, laryngitis, croup, tonsillitis, pharyngitis, adenoids, tumors or cancers, and allergies, trachea, obstruction of trachea, stenosis, fistula, and also we look at the tracheomalacia, and lungs, basically, deeper we go, more complicated become. Asthma, pneumothorax, bronchitis, pneumonia, pulmonary edema, and cancer or tumors. Again, that is the extreme. Again, we see a lot of patients with cancers or tumors, which probably is migrated or from somewhere else. But again, when it comes to the lungs, it spreads very fast because of the anatomy and how the lungs work. So looking at those, deeper we go. So again, first passage is the nasal passage. If that is healthy, then the transmitting the allergies or allergens or other things in our body will be a little difficult because it can block. So the health of the nasal passage is very important. And in Ayurveda, we look at the nasal passageway is the entry or the connection of this body with the outside world. When we are sleeping, generally we have closed everything. Some individuals keep their mouth open, but everybody is like everything is shut down. But the nasal passageway stays open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we can't close them, and we should not close them. So in that case, that passage is open and that is connecting us. So if the environment or the room we are sleeping is unhealthy, then all that unhealthy toxic air is going inside our body. But if there are particles in the dust particles or anything else, fumes, and in our the lining of the nasal passageway is good, the mucous membrane is healthy, then we can trap some of those particles outside. So that is very important. That's how we start from the journey. Other thing is when we are moving things in the body, again, movement makes a big role. We talk about the 3 doshas, and Vata being this is the Vata season, winter, Vata and Kapha. And when Vata when it's congested with the channels get congested with the Kapha, that's where the congestion becomes, and then the problems start. So 5 types of Vata: Apan Vayu, Saman Vayu, Pran Vayu, Udan Vayu, and Vyan Vayu. So again, there are the seats of those, and the chakra seat of the Apan Vayu is pelvis, and Muladhara chakra is the chakra, and earth is the element for that. Saman Vayu, look at the seat in the solar plexus, Manipur chakra, and Pran Vayu seated in the heart and chest, Anahata chakra, and Udan Vayu seated in the throat and head, Vishuddha. And then look at the Vyan Vayu, emanates from the navel, but pervades the entire body, so it goes everywhere. And that's basically connected with the Swadhisthana chakra. So if we're just making sure that we understand, then Vayu or Vata is circulating in the entire body. Everything moving inside the body or outside the body is with the help of Vayu or vata. If the vayu is not moving properly, nothing moves. So it's like air. Without air, nothing moves. And so kapha, on the other hand, again, so vayu or vat is cold and dispersing. That's why it is taking things everywhere. It moves everywhere. It connects everything. Whereas the kapha is also cold, but thick, slow, heavy, and that is the one which causes the congestion. So thick is excessive discharge, mucus, inability to smell, and asthma, itchiness, congestion in throat and nose, also causes eventually tumors, edema, lung consolidation, and that is what happens when the kapha is out of balance. Vata balance, dry, rough nose and throat, wheezing, dry mouth, thirst, dry cough, dry skin. Any dry symptoms are the symptoms of vata. Anxiety, constipation, inability to speak, hoarse voice, lung cavitations, air in the lungs, and pneumothorax, emphysema. So basically all these are symptoms when the vata goes out of balance. But when we combine vata with the kapha, then not only we have the dryness, but also have congestion. So basically nothing is moving. Pitta imbalance, on the other hand, foul discharge from nose or throat, wheezing, coughing, fever, and irritability. So burning sensation, ulcers, abscess formation, hemorrhage, burning sensation, inflammation, hemothorax, and cancer. So because the season, so even though when in the respiratory system, when vata out of balance, kapha out of balance, or pitta out of balance, these are the possible symptoms. And generally, when we see an individual, not only one dosha is out of balance, sometimes a combination, and that becomes difficult to pinpoint and treat. And in that case, we need to see what is the dominant one and how we can bring that down or bring that to balance. So continuation of that, respiratory disease are called swas roga. Roga means disease, and swas means breathing. The rogas which are, or the diseases which are creating a problem, imbalance, obstruction in breathing pattern. Due to cough, vata aggravation and accumulation in upper respiratory tract, because the lungs are the seat for the cough. Factors that weaken it: poor diet and nutrition, smoking or toxins, suppression of emotions, vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and lifestyle. Again, lifestyle plays a big role in cases when we are living in an environment, when we are doing certain things, certain profession, which may bring the toxins to our life. For example, somebody is working with a lot of chemicals, or somebody working in the construction or demolition. All that dust they are around actually is a big factor, largest factor. So if they're not wearing any protective equipment, not wearing any mask, in that case, that they are putting themselves into a danger by inhaling that toxic dust or toxic air. And so basically this is their job, this is what they do, but again at that time protecting yourself. Or if you're living close to a place which may have something burned, a lot of for example, tire factories, they burn all this leftover rubber every few months or every few weeks, and all that dust goes into in the environment. Or if there are people who are just burning leaves, and you are spending a lot of time in that area inhaling that, so that is also. So having some certain people in those professions where they are spraying chemicals, especially in the lawn and the so that is also, you are inhaling those. So make sure you are wearing the protective equipment at that time. Respiratory system, and continuing the Ayurvedic perspective, disorder starts in the stomach always. So any disease in general, we look at we always look at the digestive system, because everything starts from the gut. So the gut health is extremely important. Important to treat the stomach conditions first, and then we look at other srotas. Srotas are channels basically. So first srota is pranava srota. As you know, the life force is the most important. Channels of prana, the life, oxygen, how we can exchange the gases. So in that case, pranava srota comes in basically involves the lungs also. So that is the channel. Udikva srota is the channel of metabolizing water. Fluid is important, and 70% of our body is fluid by nature. We know that. Annava srota, channels metabolizing food. In that case, the gut is important. The digestive system is extremely important, so that need to be intact. And then comes the Rakta Vasrota, channels carrying blood. So we're looking at the blood vessels, all the arteries, arterioles, capillaries, veins. So when we're looking at the respiratory respiration, we know that the oxygen is important. Also, we know the fluid is important. We know that metabolizing food or absorbing food is important, and the blood, because ultimately in the lungs, which is the prana vasrota, the rakta vasrota brings the blood, and that gas exchange takes place there. So for that, all these srotas need to be in good shape. We look at the Pancha Mahabhut. We talked about those also last week or last month. So we'll be continuously building on those. So when we're looking at the Panch Mahabhut, we know the water, the space, air, fire, water, and earth. And for respiratory disease, the water and the earth are the most important. So in that case, we need to be looking at those and how we can keep those in balance. So again, the Vat, Pitta, and Kapha, we're looking at the air and the ether or space is the Vat, whereas Kapha is earth and water, and fire is the water, and Pitta is the fire and water. So these three doshas we call the body constitution and the 5 element. Kapha and Vata are more important, so we look at the timing. Head and lungs is the seat for Kapha, chest, stomach, colon. Childhood to about 16 years, 6 to 10 a.m. and 6 to 10 p.m. are the time of Kapha. So most of people who had congestions or congestion in the throat, lungs, head, it usually happens early in the morning and late in the evening. During the day, most of them are good because that's the Pitta time. So Pitta goes up and that will bring Kapha down. So early morning and evening. And that is also a time for, close to that is time for Vata. So 2 to 6 a.m. and 2 to 6 p.m. So with that, when we are trying to combine those, the dryness and the congestion comes, make it even more difficult. So in order for Kapha or Vata to move properly, we need to bring Pitta up, which means we need to use the foods, supplements, herbs, which are warming by nature, because heat will make the Vata and Kapha both a little warm, because these both are cold by nature, whereas the Pitta is a combination of fire and water. So it is warm, hot by nature, and that will make the circulation better by adding more heat by warming food. And that's why we always talk about soups or warming herbs and supplements at that time in the winter, especially during congestion. Vitamin D, even though there are a lot of supplements which are very, very important, but again, vitamin D at this time is extremely important for respiratory health. And so in that case, we will talk a little bit about that, vitamin D. Usually available during the summertime, free in the environment, where we are spending 30 minutes in the sunlight, exposing 30% of our body at least 3 times a week. So 30% of our body exposed for 30 minutes 3 times a week is actually gives us a vitamin D. And then with the help of the skin, our body produces the vitamin D. So a lot of immune defense again against infection is coming from vitamin D. Antimicrobial action, vitamin D stimulates the production of cathelicidin, which is an antimicrobial peptide, which is really, really important to fight against bacterial and viral infection, viral pathogens in the lungs. So in looking at this is found in many animals, including humans. And in humans, is made with the again, vitamin D actually is there. We need that. So with the help of vitamin D, this is produced in our neutrophils with the help of neutrophils and epithelial cell or Bedi. So neutrophils are one of the 5 types of white blood cells count. It's very important for the immune system. So we need those, and so that for that vitamin D is important. More vitamin D we have, more antimicrobial peptides our body makes. So extremely important. Reduced infection risk. Deficiency increases susceptibility to upper respiratory tract, so in infections. So we need again more vitamin D for that also. And we know the COVID-19 relevance. We still have a lot of leftover in the individuals who were infected multiple times. So again, we know that immune system is extremely important. The innate immune system is important. So having enough vitamin D will be really, really useful. And again, at the early time of COVID-19, we remember many countries incorporated vitamin D and vitamin C in the treatment plan, and they were relatively healthy. We, of course, kept waiting for the vaccine, and we saw what happened. So in that case, we now know the vitamin D is extremely important for that also. Cytokine regulation is also very, very important. And so it means vitamin D is needed for that, suppresses pro-inflammatory cytokines. And that is also we need to keep in mind. Asthma and COPD management reduces airway hyperresponsiveness and mucus production. So we need to, again, need vitamin D for that. So even though generally vitamin D is, when we check that, is the range is 30 to 100, and having about 60, 70, even 80 is really, really good. But even most of people I find actually have deficiency in the Northeast. When people come and they says my vitamin D is normal, we find that is 35, 33, 30, not less than 40. So at the lower end always. So we need to increase that. Few people I find enough vitamin D are those who are spending enough time outside during the summer months when they are in the garden or doing something outside. So as much time as possible, spend that outside, outdoors during summer. Winter is cold, and so that is not possible. Lung structure and function, also vitamin D required. Developmental support, critical for surfactant synthesis, which is inside the lungs, which is very important. Airway remodeling inhibits smooth muscle hyperplasia, collagen deposition. So for that also we need vitamin D. Bone muscle health strengthens the respiratory muscles and reduces osteoporosis. We also know that. So for that, vitamin D is extremely, extremely important. So in generally, that is one vitamin most of the people living in the Northeast or in the colder weather all over the world have deficiency. Even the individuals who live in the warmer areas have a deficiency because most of people are indoor people. They do not spend much time outside. As soon as it got a little warm, they run inside and they sit in the air conditioner. Cars are air conditioned, home is air conditioned, and also the offices, so we don't get much time outside and we don't sweat. Kapha in winter, increased cough accumulation. Winter is primarily considered as a kapha season in Ayurveda, characterized by cold, damp, and heavy qualities that mirror kapha's nature. This similarity leads to an accumulation of kapha in the body and mind, potentially causing imbalances if not properly managed. So that is the importance of having a diet, because this is the time of the year how everything's cold outside. We can't change that. If it's going to be snowfall on Thursday, we can't stop that. But the only thing we can do, make sure we have warm tea with us, ginger, cardamom, cumin, fenugreek if you have blood sugar issues, and just boil the water and keep sipping that entire day. And I can basically assure you that the throat inside, lungs will be healthy, warm, basically digestion will be better. So we have control over that part of our daily routine. Physical effects, congestion and stagnation. The cold, damp weather can lead to increased mucus production and congestion. Sluggish digestion, kapha is naturally slow, so that basically makes that. Weight gain, and because of that tendency, it increases the weight. Mental and emotional, we know lethargy and heaviness is there, that is kapha. And depression is very common during the winter months when the sun is not out. Again, so literally, it tells us we all are solar power. When the sun is up, we have energy. When there's no sun and then weather is damp, basically people feel depressed. So seasonal depression is very common. The diet for this, what is suggest is it favors madhur, which is sweet and sour and salty rasas. It includes snigdh oily food and ushna hot. So oily and hot. So soups are extremely important. Emphasize guru and balya. So this is the time to build the body. This is the time to store the nutrients. So in that case, we use these because not only the heavy and strengthening food with oil, which means good fat, and warm by nature is going to nourish every part, every cell, every layer of the body. So for that, we use good, nutritious food during the winter months. The key herbs and spices we use: ginger, tulsi, turmeric, pipali, carom seed, and licorice. Out of those, ginger and tulsi and turmeric, doesn't matter how much you use, we still not have enough. One thing I like to add here, cardamom. So ginger, tulsi, turmeric, and cardamom. 4 herbs. So if you are using or making a tea, and you are using in 1 gallon of water about 2 inches of grated ginger and 15-20 leaves of holy basil, or take half teaspoon of powder. Pipali, take 1/2 teaspoon of pipali powder. Carom seed, about half. You can add licorice, but again, if you are adding cardamom, 5 or 6 cardamom crushed, let it boil. Since you are using turmeric, it will be good to put about a pinch of black pepper. That tea actually is going to take care of majority of the upper respiratory tract infections and also congestion. But again, if you're using that every day, then you're using as a preventive medicine, and believe me, you will not get sick, because this is not only going to help the lungs, but also the digestion. Your absorption is going to be better. So ginger reduces inflammation, clears mucus, improves lung circulation. Tulsi or holy basil boosts immunity, combats infections, and soothes airway. Turmeric, anti-inflammatory, detoxifies lungs via curcumin. Pipali, long pepper, clears congestion, reduces oxidative stress. Carom seed improves airflow, expels excess mucus. And licorice soothes throat, clears phlegm. Many individuals, when they're making this tea, if they're not using licorice, people are using honey also. But again, only basically condition is you should not cook the honey. You should not bake the honey. Just add it when the tea is off the stove. Cardamom is also basically really good for the lung. So also reduces inflammation and clears mucus. Nutrient-rich food: fruits, apple, oranges, berries, antioxidant, detoxify the lungs. Vegetables: spinach, broccoli, drumsticks, strengthen lungs tissue. Healthy fats: ghee and sesame oil. And again, you use the warm spices. Again, there are so many of those, but ginger, garlic, cardamom, those are cumin. You can use mustard seed. All these are warming spices. In dietary practice, avoid cold foods, dairy, processed or fried items, because they will increase the mucus. Cold and heavy, especially ice cream. I always suggest, nobody should be ice cream during winter. Ice cream should not be consumed at all anyway. But again, if you really, really want, then during the summer months when it's very, very hot, during lunchtime, you can take a little bit of ice cream. Otherwise, that is not a healthy food. Prioritize warm, cooked meals. Soup and khichdi probably will be the best for easy digestion. And if you are not eating soup or khichdi, then make sure you chew your food very well. Everything needs to be chewed. A lot of individuals love salad, raw food. Either you warm them up or leave them outside the refrigerator, because they are at 40 degrees temperature, very low heat, and they will suck heat out of you. So when your body temperature drops, the metabolism is not at optimum. Even then, you must use either something soup or warm food with the salad, and chew very well. Many individuals, they just assume since this is salad, it will be digested very well. Not really. You're adding fiber to your gut, but again, you're not chewing it. It has to turn into a paste. There are no grinders in the gut, only grinders in the mouth. When you grind them very well, mix that with saliva, turn into paste, then it is able to release the nutrients to your system. Morning rituals: warm water with rock salt or Himalayan salt, or honey and lemon. Avoidance: late night curd, fermented food. So yogurt should not be, or curd should not be used in the evening anyway. And generally, we do not use that in the winter. But again, if you're using during lunchtime, great, but not in the morning and not in the evening. The refrigerated beverage should not be consumed. It's already cold outside. You should not, again, people are still serving and drinking iced tea, iced coffee, iced drink with ice. You should not be using any ice. Heavy Oily meals, again, post sunset in the night should not be used. If you're using in the lunchtime, then they are acceptable. Kapha reducing foods, triphala balances doshas, cleanses lungs. Amla, ritki, bibitki, 3 fruits in there called triphala. Really good for digestive system, also for liver, and it's a tonic for the entire body. We call rasayana. Rasayana actually have a definition in Ayurveda. Basically, jara vyadhi vinashanam, rasayan iti abhidhyate, which means the one which takes away the aging process or the disease of the aging, and also, so basically jara, which is aging, and then the disease, it takes away both. That is called rasayana. So when you are healthy, you take them to maintain your health. When you are sick, you take them as a medicine. And triphala is one of those rasayanas. Golden milk, we talk about that. You take turmeric and pinch of black pepper in warm milk. If you add saffron, that will be better. And if you want to make it even more nutritious, if you have no issue with the blood sugar level, you may chop or put some ground cardamom, ground almond, and 1 or 2 chopped dates, and boil that in the milk. That even become a little more tastier. But again, turmeric is the main ingredient with black pepper. But even though if you are using the regular milk, you may not even need black pepper, because turmeric requires either the fat or black pepper or bromelain to be absorbed. Since the milk have natural fat, you'll absorb the turmeric with that one. But again, if you add cardamom, that makes it a little more nutritious. And of course, saffron will make it even more healthier. Almond black pepper mix, crushed almond with black pepper powder in milk will be really healthy. Steam inhalation, eucalyptus oil or ajwain for congestion relief will be really, really good. And so you take about 2-3 cups of water, boil them, and then you put few drops of eucalyptus oil, inhale that. Or you can put ajwain, and that will also help. And with the ajwain, not only you can inhale, but also you can drink the ajwain tea. That'll be good. Lifestyle, pranayama, which makes deep breathing, is really important. Again, out of these practices, Kapalabhati and Anulom Vilom is really, really good for lung capacity. Generally, when we are breathing, we take about 500 cc of air. That is basically the intake of air. So we call them tidal volume. Out of tidal volume, 500 cc, 150 cc of air actually is trapped in our nose and trachea. That is not taking part in gas exchange. Only 350 cc of air is used. When we take a long, deep breath, and the total lung capacity is as much as 5 liters, we can take a lot of air inside. And just imagine, instead of 350 cc, now we have 4,850 cc of air at our disposal, and then we can abstract, or the lungs can absorb more oxygen out of it. So in that case, we are increasing the prana, the life force inside our body. So basically, by doing pranayama, we are increasing the lung capacity, and we are inhaling a lot more air, and thus the oxygen. Nasya therapy is herbal oils such as sesame oil, and also we have nasya oil, which has combination in nostrils to filter pollutants. Early dinners, light meals by sunset to ease digestion and breathing. Abhyanga, really important, warm oil massages, mustard or sesame, depending upon your dosha, to reduce the toxins. It produces heat and also improves circulation in our body. So when you look at the kapha reducing food in the preparation, further balancing the kapha, actually focus on light cooked or roasted vegetable. Seasonal root vegetables are very important. In the winter, as you know, living in this area, no fresh vegetable is grown. So for that reason, we are using root vegetable. Those are the winter vegetable. We can use radish, we can use beetroot, we can use turnip, we can use carrot. All these are root vegetables. So we use those and roast them, and then we add ghee, and also we can add sesame seed or other nuts, nut powder. And so we can make them spicy or lightly spicy based on our taste, but make sure we add good fat to them, either ghee or almond oil or sesame seed oil or olive oil. So lightly cooked or roasted vegetable, soups and stews with plenty of warming spices. And again, generally, if you have a soup cooking, all day and every hour or so you take half a cup, again, you will not be doing yourself any harm. You'll be benefiting from that. The soups are already, basically mixed together. You don't have to do much of the work in chewing it, and then is easy to absorb, is warm, and it has warming herbs and spices. And also if you add some good fat, it'll be easily absorbed, will nourish the entire system. Dry roasted legumes or seeds, these preparations, the preparation methods help maintain warmth while keeping foods light and easily digestible. So again, having multiple time, a soup basically, you can drink every hour, every 2 hour, easily digested instead of having a heavy meal. And in the kapha, when there is not much of exercise, there's not much of walking outside, keeping that light is actually extremely important. Oshadhi, Vasaplex, these are combination of herbs, and some are single herbs. Vasaplex is really good combination for the lungs and the upper respiratory tract. Brahmi, because again, when you look at the entire body connecting with the nervous system, Brahmi is a neurotonic. So it helps the nervous system, and especially when calming the gut, calming the mind when we are sick, which is really helpful. Dudika, Boswellia, curcuma, we'll always talk about curcumin. Again, curcuma is a really important. Tulsi, giloy. Other next two are the powder combination of many herbs, talisadi powder and sitopaladi powder. Those are really, really helpful in keeping the lungs healthy. Cough, cold, asthma, bronchitis. So basically we use the combination with other herbs also. Shatavari for hormones, pipli, kutki, ginger, and yashti madhu are really good herbs. Again, we use those in combination. Some of them we can use by itself. For example, ginger we can use in all the food. Shatavari we can use to balance the hormone. Brahmi we can use for nervous system. Curcuma, Boswellia, Tulsi, for example, we can use all the time. Giloy we always use for boosting the immune system. So again, boosting immune system is very, very important. As long as our immune system is intact, we are in good shape. Aushadhi continues. So quercetin, again, really good. And NAC, glutathione, carotenes, omega-3s, bromelain. For omega-3s, we are dependent upon the flaxseed, so instead of the fish, because they're really, really important and healthy. Vitamin D, we talked about this before. Copper and zinc are very, very important. Vasaplex, Immunitiplex are two decoctions of herbs. Immunity boosters, Immunitiplex, liquid and capsules, both are available. Vitamin C, good antioxidant. So in generally, you can take up to 6 grams, and more than that, you need to consult your healthcare provider because many individuals cannot handle that. Zinc, vitamin A, and giloy. So with those, you can also use many preparation in the food where you are combining herbs and spices and the regular food to make soups, to make khichdi, adding different vegetable. As long as your diet actually is healthy with good fat and also nutritious herbs, which you are able to absorb. If you eat heavy meals late in the evening during winter months and you are not able to walk outside because of snow, then digestion is compromised. So why not go a little lighter and then eat early? For the health of the respiratory tract, eucalyptus oil, sesame oil, nasya oil, and earth oil are used. Again, all of those are decongestant. All of those are antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, they will nourish and also help the respiratory system. Again, out of those, if you have nothing available, sesame seed oil can be used. You can use eucalyptus oil as an inhaler. You inhale that, putting in the hot water. But nasya oil is a blend of many oils, just specifically for the health of the nasal passageway and the lungs. So we recommend during, again, all around the year, people who have infection or people who have frequent throat infection, nasal congestion, use all around the year. But for everybody else, at least during the winter months, starting from November, December, January, February, March, is really, really important. Not only there's a dry and congestion, but also the quality of the air circulating in our home. The homes are not open. We don't open our doors because we're losing the heat. And then depending upon what kind of heat we have circulating in our house, dry heat, or if you have radiators, and that makes a difference. So many times we don't have anything which is going to provide humidity. So then we have dry heat that makes everything dry, even drier. So nasal passage dries up, and the mucous membrane actually at that time is not intact; it cracks, and that becomes very susceptible of the human being can catch. Even common cold does not heal because the passageways are already cracked, and the health of the mucous membrane is compromised. So it is very, very important to have that. Okay. Flaxseed is really important to stay healthy. Heating is Ushnvirya, is produce warmth in the body, generates internal warmth, and basically during the winter cold. Balances Vata, lubricates because they have oil. So lubricates dry tissues and supports direction. Cautions, aggravates Pitta. And basically, if you use too much, then of course they'll increase Pitta, is warming by nature. So people with Pitta body type, number one, should not consume a lot of it. And also during the summer, we do not use the flaxseed, or use with precaution, not like you take it, instead of taking a tablespoon, you start taking a cup load. So even though some of these are useful, but again, you don't take overdose of that. Winter specific benefits, immunity and warmth. Omega-3 is a lot of that. Excuse me. And lignans strengthen immunity against seasonal infection. So lignans are the plant-based compound. They're found in flaxseed and sesame seed. They are estrogenic, but also antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and also anti-tumor. So we use those in a lot of cancer treatment also. So for winter, omega-3s, even though all around the year, they're useful. But again, during the summer, we use with little precaution. During winter, we use more. And so for immune system. For digestive health, high fiber alleviates winter-induced constipation and supports gut health. Heart and joint care, basically, you look at the ALA, reduces inflammation, easing joint stiffness, common in cold month. Hormone balance, then estrogenic ability, stabilize mood swing linked to seasonal hormone shift. Again, if you're using them, consume ground seed, half tablespoon to 1 tablespoon per day in warm porridge, soup, golden milk, whatever way you want to get that one. So basically, you don't want to use a lot of raw, always roast them and use them with the other food. Broccoli is also one food, even though it is not originally a Ayurvedic food, but again, now we are incorporating that. The properties, it balances Vata and Pitta, light yet grounding, ideal for winter Kapha Vata mix. Tridoshic, safe for most constitutions when cooked. Again, we do not recommend raw, always saute or cook. Winter specific benefits, immunity booster, vitamin C, and also it had sulforaphane, so combat cold and flu. Bone health, vitamin K and calcium, which is really important. Detoxification, fiber, antioxidant, so actually cleans toxins from heavy winter meals, and also good for skin. Fatty acids prevent dryness caused by cold winter. Flaxseed is also good for skin, so we can use flaxseed and broccoli both. And also the next one I think will come is sesame seed. That is also very important. If it's not here, sesame seed is also really good. Is warming and also antioxidant. And also it has a lot of lignans. So basically, in that case, the sesame seed is also very useful. Steam or saute with warming spices, ginger, turmeric. Pair with ghee to enhance nutrient absorption. So because of the Vata is little dry by nature, again, if we cook that with ghee or sesame seed oil or olive oil is very, very important. So just do not be like a lot of time I've seen people eating broccoli raw or carrot raw. They should be salted, they should be cooked, and always add some lubrication ghee or olive oil to that one. Dosha balance, flax seeds, heat, complements broccoli's lightness, harmonizes kapha and vata. So combining them will be good. Nutrient density, together they provide omega-3s, fiber, vitamins, and antioxidant. Seasonal alignment, both are winter harvested, so use good. But again, I mentioned before, sesame is also good, but again, a lot of individuals are allergic to sesame seed or nut allergies. In that case, that you should use precautions. Flaxseed avoids excess with pitta, mentioned that before. Broccoli cooked thoroughly to aid digestion and limit in kapha heavy individual, so you don't add too much. But again, if there are kapha individuals which are heavy, using broccoli. But if you cook them with ginger and garlic, that will compensate for that. So when you're cooking broccoli, you must use ginger and garlic. You can add a little tomato paste, maybe tomatoes there. But again, use the spices. Like you mentioned before, you can use cumin powder, coriander powder, and turmeric definitely, and that will basically balance everything. Flaxseed, ginger, and broccoli are basically corner stores. I mean, even like I said, broccoli was not there originally. Of Ayurvedic winter nutrition, because everybody is eating broccoli here, is easily available, offering warmth, immunity, and that is with sport while balancing seasonal doshic shift. So basically integrate them into your diet. Very, very important. Contribution of indoor plant. And that is also very, very important. Reason being, in the winter months, we are not opening windows and doors, so there's no outside air coming. Many of us have filters inside, but the plants actually provide natural purification and filter. So photosynthesis is there, absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen during daylight, improving fresh air freshness, indirectly reduces pollutant concentration by increasing oxygen level. So having good plants inside are very, very useful. Also, phytoremediation, leaf absorption, volatile organic compound like formaldehyde, benzene, and xylene enter through stomata. So basically the leaf pores absorb that. So if you are using any paint or anything else which is toxic inside, the leaves of the plant will absorb those toxins, and so they are basically providing a good service as a air purifier. Root microbe interaction, soil microorganisms break down absorbed toxins into harmless compound. So the plant inside the house are very, very important. And also, so in that case, we want to make sure that we have good, system in the house where we keep this plant. Contribution of indoor plants to air purification is basically, we mentioned before, formaldehyde, benzene, xylene, toluene, ammonia. And so basically the source basically is the furniture, adhesive, plastic, cigarette smoke, paint, solvent, cleaners, fertilizer, dry cleaning also. And so the different plant which can be useful for those, you can use the spider plant and peace lily, bamboo palm for the formaldehyde. You can use the snake plant, English ivy, and Gerbera daisy for benzene. If you know that you have those in your environment, Areca palm, rubber plant, ZZ plant, these are for xylene and toluene. Peace lily, lady palm for the ammonia. And so that there's so many indoor plant. Having plant inside the house are very, very important. So going back, there are a lot of herbs which we can use. So those are part of our daily routine where we can include those as part of our daily diet. Trifla, golden milk, almond, black pepper mix, steam inhalation, having a lifestyle of deep breathing, natsya therapy, abhyanga, those are useful. In that case, there are some supplements also we can use. Tulsi, holy basil plant at house, using curcumin, using Brahmi, Vasaplex, Giloy, ginger, everyday use are really useful. In that, we also need to do, if there is a condition, then we can use some complex combination like the immunity-plex, liquid or capsule, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin A, Vasaplex. And if those things don't work, then you must see a practitioner who can help you in that condition. And plants in the home are always useful because this is a natural source of giving oxygen, and they absorb all the toxic air and provide a clean air. And with that, we'll stop. And thank you very much for listening today. Make sure you stay warm, drink a lot of soup, and a lot of tea with ginger and cardamom. And if you, and again, with that, you can add also saffron. They'll be really good and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kotick. Would anyone like to ask the doctor a question? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I speak now? I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Hi. Thank you so much for this presentation. I really appreciate it. And the doctor said that about the teeth. I have a daughter who has asthma and has tonsillitis. She's supposed to get a surgery in a couple months. And I was thinking ginger, it would be a little spicy for her. Which another option I should try for her? She's 5 years old.
Cardamom is good. So
Almond?
if you cannot use ginger, use cardamom. So the
Cardamom.
green cardamom pods, you use those. Fennel seed will be good, calming also, and cumin seed. So if you have cardamom, cumin, and fennel seed, and so just 1 cup of water with 2 or 3 cardamom, about 1/4 teaspoon of cumin seed, 1/4 teaspoon of fennel. Boil that for a few minutes, filter that, and for calming, if her blood sugar level is okay, you can add a little bit of honey while the tea is off the stove, not on the stove. So she can
Okay.
take sip by sip, and that will calm down. But again, in this case, when the condition is more advanced, there may be other issues in her body which we do not know. So you need to look at the whole picture. What else is happening? And just lungs don't get infected, or the things don't move that fast unless other things are there. So immune system need to be need help. So that will be a good idea to work with an immune system also.
Okay, thank you so much. And
Okay.
another question is about you said about this water. It's we drink spring water. Is it a spring water okay? Or if it's not okay, what kind of filter you suggest to buy?
Depending upon which spring you're using, if you're using spring, which is the name of the town, then it may not be a spring water. At one point, I used to buy Georgia spring water, found out Georgia spring water was from the town of Georgia Spring, not the spring water, right? So we do not know. If you know that there is a spring and you go there and collect the water, then you can, and then you have to use filter. So in that case, if we are using one specific source of water, having a sample and sending to a lab to test for the heavy metals, we are more concerned about lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium. But also in this area, we are finding a lot more uranium. Uranium is coming from the ground. So if uranium is there, then you need to be looking for a specific filter. There are different filters for different things. And there are some companies which just are making good filtration system for the entire house. If you get it installed, they will take care of everything. But again, many times when we have well water, instead of adding a good filter, we end up adding more chemicals because the water is too light, too heavy. So we keep adding more sodium chloride or potassium chloride. We're adding more of that. So in that case, making sure whatever you're adding to the water to treat the water is not going to compromise the health of the individual.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to ask the doctor a question?
Yes, Sheila. I was just thinking as you were talking about the water, I have a severe rust problem with my water. Is that heavy metal?
Usually there is iron, which is
Iron.
iron in the water. And in generally when we have that and we are looking at our sources of water, where water is running, we see all these redness. and that is basically the excessive iron. How it is absorbed, that is also because there are other things also, other metals also in that water. So having a test done is what else is there, and then is getting a filter installed. But you have to uh, contact a professional who can do that. Buying the filter from the store, they do not do much. Believe me, people sometimes buy things and it's not doing much. So you need to have a good filter to filter the entire water system.
Yeah, mine is a well. I've had it here for over 50 years. The well water's always had this rust color, and I have a whole house filter, but
Right.
every 2 months it turns very orangey colored. And then I have a couple of Brita
There's a lot of
filters.
iron in that water, and the filter need to be replaced basically every month.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right now we have the same thing. We keep replacing the filters. We have a lot of them in the basement. So filter get clogged. So then filter need to be replaced. Don't take any risk in that part.
Okay.
In generally, if there's a lot of iron for the girls in the family, females is okay, but
Mhm.
a lot of iron is toxic for men. So you don't want.
Okay, well, I'm menopausal, so it's probably not too good for me either.
Yes, yes. Right. In that case, basically getting a good filter is always important.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
I have a
One,
question. I have a question if that's okay.
yes, yes.
So I would like to know, is it okay? So I drink golden milk, but I actually combine it with a smoothie because I drink the smoothie warm. I was wondering if that's okay to combine it with other ingredients, or is it more beneficial to just keep the golden milk with the milk, the turmeric, the ginger, the cloves, that kind of thing?
What other things are in the smoothie?
I put a half of a banana and a hemp protein and black pepper.
Mhm.
So cinnamon, black pepper, turmeric, ginger, ground cloves,
Mhm.
spirulina, and
Mhm.
psyllium husk. And then I use oat milk and I warm the milk and
Mhm.
then put that into the cup and then I put everything else in there.
So banana need to be out. Banana is sluggish by nature.
Okay.
It is a bulk maker only, and especially if you are getting the regular banana from the store, unless they're small banana. And second thing is the psyllium husk should not be there. Psyllium,
Okay.
basically husk is again bulk maker, but also it helps move in the gut. So psyllium will create this bulk which will engulf everything in their smoothie and the golden milk and will make it move faster to the gut. It won't wait until it's absorbed. So you don't get any nutrients out of it. It all goes out without giving any benefit.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you catch anything else?
Psyllium husk should be taken by itself 1 hour away from food, either before or after. So it only works as a fiber, not taking away your nutrients.
Oh, okay. And don't eat bananas, kind of like that. Just get rid of the bananas altogether. I mean, I only put half in, but if you're saying eliminate it, then that's fine. I'll leave that
Well, you
out.
can, if you like banana, and some people are monkey, they like bananas, so that's fine. But not to put in your golden milk and the smoothie because it's nutritious and you want to keep all the nutritions in a good way. So you don't want any just bulk for no reason. When you have
Okay.
a golden milk with the turmeric, a little bit of black pepper, cinnamon, cardamom, you can add that. A little bit of saffron will be good. You may want to add 1 tablespoon of ground almond powder. If you like the taste, you can add a little bit of 2 or 3 chopped dates, and any protein, that will be good. Hemp protein will be good. So those are all good things, but we don't want something to build the bulk and some extra fiber, which is going to take everything out.
Okay. Thank you very much for enlightening me on that. I will make the changes tomorrow.
Definitely. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kaushik.
Thank
All
you so
right. Dr. Kaushik's next presentation is Eating in Harmony with Nature, the Integumentary System. And this online program will take place Tuesday, March 11th from 7 to 8 p.m. And you can register on the Pauling Library's online calendar or by sending me an email to donald@adult@paulinglibrary.org. So thank you, Dr. Kaushik. Thank you, everyone. A good night
you,
to
sir.
all. And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
Stay warm.
All right.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.